by 1 minute.
At this time, I'd like to call the February meeting of the MSD of North Posey Board to order. Please join me in my pledge of allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Kavanaugh, if you will read our vision, mission, core beliefs, and high priorities.
Yes. Our vision is we inspire all students to achieve their potential for learning and life in a safe and supportive environment. Our mission is we partner with our community to create a dynamic and innovative educational experience, empowering students to become educated, productive, and responsible citizens. Our core beliefs: we believe our community is vital to our educational success. Everyone is valued and treated with respect, in always telling the truth, an educational opportunity for all, student-centered programs challenging and inspiring learning, in the pursuit of excellence through a strong sense of pride. Our high priorities are enhancing the student experience, investing in teachers and administrators, fostering strong relationships among all, and maximizing our resources.
Thank you. And first item on our agenda is patrons' concerns. We have Mr. Bridges. Did you receive a copy or view a copy of the
Yes.
concerns?
Yes.
All right. You, sir, have 3 minutes.
Okay. I'll get up here because some of you don't know me. I'm Kenny Bridges, bus driver. And I've got some issues. And I'd like for them to be taken in congestion and concern because I'm dealing with the most precious cargo in the world. And I take that pretty serious. So, and for one thing, I'm questioning the e-learning days that we are available, ready to go to work. The school system having e-days, we can't work. But I feel we're being punished for it because we're having to sit in meetings that most of the time don't pertain to us anyway at all. And that's one issue with me. My personal days, I feel, are my time. Unfortunately, I broke a leg a couple years back, and I was down for a year. I had enough personal days built up to cover me except for 1 week. And I feel like that's pretty important. So I think something needs to be done there. Another issue I've got is when Jerry retired, he wasn't replaced. And now Bernie's out on a route entirely too much. Laura has a route. Scotty is normally out on a route. We're out on our routes with no backup whatsoever. If we have an accident or a child gets hurt, we're going to be swarmed by law enforcement. And that's great, because at that time we're going to need all the help we can get. But when Jerry was in the bus garage, we could call him immediately. He'd get in the bus and come to us. Who's going to do it now? Nobody in the garage. And I think that's a big issue because we have been told, don't say anything till we get there. So administration knows exactly what was said and done. So I think we've got an issue with nobody being in that garage. And then again, we've got issues that we're not informed. We have no communication anymore. I had a coach call me Saturday afternoon, 10 minutes till 3. Kenny, are you gonna pick us up for the game? I said, honey, I didn't know you had a game. I don't know nothing about it. Nobody has told me anything. The last I heard was you guys was gonna use the E-bus for the playoffs. And that's the only thing I've been told. So she said, well, we're sitting out here waiting and I don't know what we can do. I said, well, if you can be a little bit late, I'll throw some clothes on, go get a bus and be on my way. This is 10 till 3 and they were supposed to leave at 3. So I got to the school at 3:15, picked them up and took them to the game. Come back, went in Monday morning. Well, I had a trip ticket in the box, but I knew nothing about it. So I got it covered. And lack of communications is a big thing on a bus route. Because we need to know what we're doing. We've got the most precious cargo there is. And we absolutely need to know where we're at and what we're doing. So I had an issue back in November that there were some problems came up. Fortunately, I didn't lay down and play dead. I went and got the situation took care of. And I appreciate that more than I can ever tell you. But I have got a grievance because someone in the system called my doctor's office and barefaced told them false evidence, false report. I've got an issue with that. I mean, I'm not perfect. I make a lot of mistakes, but I do have HIPAA rights too. And I'm a little nervous because I ain't used to talking in front of people.
Probably getting close to your 3 minutes too.
We're at the 3 minutes, but we do have your list.
Good. I just, guys, I just asked that these things are personal. I know that. But they need to be taken care of. And I do appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the job you do.
Yes. Thank you for taking care of this. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you driving for me.
Thank you, Eric.
That is all for patrons' concerns. So at this time, we would open the hearing for discussions regarding the proposed superintendent contract. And we have nobody who wishes to do that in the audience, I'm assuming. We're going to leave that open and continue with the regular meeting. So moving on to the minutes, claim docket, and consent items. Mr. Kavanaugh, do you mind to run through those?
Sure. Following FMLA personal leave requests. Go through the
Yeah,
names.
let's get
Names.
past. You can
Okay.
read the names only.
All right. Julie Saylor, Sarah Ashburn, and Lori Lingenfelter. Following hiring and transfer requests for 23-24 school year, Rhonda Zubinski, transfer to head cook position effective January 16th. Rachel Butler, cafeteria worker in the high school and junior high school effective February 5th. J.C. Smith, long-term sub teacher at North Elementary's Life Skills Room effective February 12th, 2024. Brittany Hester, temporary transfer from her instructional assistant position to long-term sub for Carrie Farrar. Megan Helfert, long-term sub for Brittany Hester, while she covers Carrie Farrar's leave. Casey Straub, volunteer assistant baseball coach. The following overnight are out-of-state field trips. Robin Bender take the FFA students to the National Farm Machinery Show in Louisville, Kentucky on February 14th. Natalie McCauley to take Project Lead the Way biomedical class to Wabash Valley College on March 15th, Research Careers and Pathways. Mr. Kirkman to take the baseball team to Murfreesboro, Tennessee, March 28th through the 30th, compete in games and attend the Vanderbilt home game. Following facility use request, Purdue Extension to use the high school auditorium for the Posey County 4-H Talent Show, April 26th. Following renewals, the Raptor Technology annual renewal of the Student Safety Suite and Visitor Management System for price of $8,342.40. And pursuant to Indiana Code 5-11-10.5, the corporation building treasurer's request to declare all checks outstanding and unpaid for the period of 2 years as of December 31st, 2023 as canceled.
Thank you for that. This time I'm looking for a motion to approve the consent items as presented.
I make a motion to approve the consent items as was presented.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second. On to discussion.
The only question I had, the outstanding checks, are these checks that we have written and nobody's cashed? That's what's happened, okay? And there were lists of those on that, someplace I saw, okay. Some of those are, can't believe I wouldn't cash, I look for my name.
The
Me
late
too, Larry.
the late ad on the North Elementary Life Skills Substitute Teacher, what is the current situation in that room? Is that the one that we did not have a certified teacher?
Correct.
Yes.
Our aide was, we had moved her into the sub position.
So this,
So this is puts the aide back in the aide position.
gotcha. Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. I'll turn it over to Mrs. Walden at this point.
All right, first up we have preschool and pre-K rates for 24-25 school year. We took a look at our rates from the last year and the cost of the program and feel pretty good about keeping rates fairly consistent. A couple of changes that were requested with our building administration was just to make that a even 4,000 instead of the difference that we had before, instead of the 3,950 for the annual full day. And then there was a small increase to the half day rate to cover costs.
Okay. Looking for a motion to approve the change in rates.
Make a motion that we approve the change in preschool and pre-K rates.
I'll second it.
A motion and a second, on to discussion. The goal is to keep that program as self-sufficient as possible, right?
Correct.
No other discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0.
Yeah, it doesn't pay for the teachers, does it? It does pay for the teachers, this pays for the teachers' salary. Wow.
Yeah, I can get you those rates and
Oh,
stuff you'd like to see.
I don't need to see it, I just.
Yeah, we're pretty close to break even.
Good.
Mrs. Walden.
Next up, we have a request to basically deem April 8th a community day. So currently on our schedule, that is already, it's an e-learning day. That is the day of the solar eclipse. And so after hearing from community members and community groups, I know New Harmony and Poseyville are both planning very large events those 2 days and are seeking support from, our staff, our families, our community. They want our children there. They want the people there. We're seeking to see if we can just call that a community day. If you'll remember, we spoke a little bit about when we do e-learning, because we are governed by instructional minutes instead of instructional days. The e-learning days are not counting as those instructional minutes. So this would not change any instructional time that we report to the state. Our day for that, our challenge to families would be go be a part of the community. If our employees that already on these types of days, a snow day or anything like that, have log sheets that they use to kind of say, this is what I did for the day, that we would ask them to continue to still log on their log sheet, how in some way they contributed to the community, but this would be something that it would be on the honor system. We're not asking people to like sign ins or log sheet or things like that at events. We're not trying to police that. So.
Looking for a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second,
I'll second it.
on to discussion.
Evidently, this is gonna be quite the drive school has just informed us we're not driving that day because it's gonna be really congested. What happens if it's cloudy out that day? I guess it still gets dark, doesn't it? It's cloudy and rainy and
Yes.
I don't know. And they said in New Harmony, every bed and breakfast, all 15 of them or whatever is booked, and every hotel room has been booked already, so.
And the sites at the campground.
Oh, yeah,
200 sites at the campground.
Maybe I gotta buy some
Can't
extension
run
cords
sites.
and
No kidding.
I got a field behind my house. Like,
I've got a camper already set up.
Pitch some tents.
Sounds like a good opportunity.
mhm.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Mrs. Walden.
All right, next up we have the Early Literacy Achievement Grant. This is a grant that was just awarded by the Department of Education to all schools. It's kind of a pass-through grant. You can think of it a little bit like the Teacher Appreciation Grant, the TAG money, that annually we set a policy on how we're going to distribute that money. And then when they give us the money, that money goes straight to teachers. So this is similar. They've told us how much money we're getting, and we have to have a board-approved policy on how we're going to distribute that money. They've given us a few guidelines, and that's in the policy. And so this is our proposed policy. I think points of interest that I'll share is that how we would distribute the money is number one, to all effective and highly effective teachers. And the stipend would be determined by the superintendent or designee. And basically that's saying we would take the money that they give us and we would figure out how, equally to all. And then second, to instructional assistants, librarians, and media specialists, a stipend in the amount of 50% less than the stipend given to effective teachers. So once we set the baseline number that here's this number, then they would receive at least 50% less. Now, we wanted to keep this in control of the superintendent or designee to decide, because we have people that are only working in literacy maybe a fourth of the day, and so we want to be able to kind of work with the administrators and their schedules and be able to put that appropriately. And that prorated amount would be determined within that process. And then within the timeline of distribution determined by the DOE, so obviously we would give it out in time. The cost of turf and FICA would be paid for by the grant, so this would not be an added cost to the district. And then 100% of the grant funds would be distributed.
And this is only pre-K through third.
For 22-20.
Yes, for 22-23 school year.
Looking for a motion to approve the Early Literacy Achievement Grant policy.
I make a motion, we approve such policy and the Early Literacy Achievement Grant.
And I'll second it.
Any other discussion on this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Mrs. Walden.
Grab those policies. Sorry, I didn't have them.
Have you been given a number as to how much you're going to get for the grant to distribute?
The number.
Have you been given a figure how much you're going to
Yes,
get?
I don't have it off the top of my head, but I can give it to you. So we have for first read tonight. We have the finance, professional staff, and support staff sections of Neola policy. There's in our spreadsheet, I put that if there's any changes or suggested changes with updates with Neola policies. That we've had a couple comments and I've shared, okay, that's super easy to change here. So any questions or changes you'd like to see from what you've already looked at?
I haven't made it through all of them, but
You want those now? I don't know that I have any.
Or I can help you either.
I just had some questions. One was, anything over $50,000, we take bids. And what about under $50,000? We don't have to take bids, or how does that work then?
That was written as 3 quotes, correct?
I'm not exactly sure.
that's probably a state law.
Yeah, it looked like it was in. Later on, it said if the superintendent had ability to spend $25,000.
That's our current policy.
That's what the
as well.
current policy is. That's something I was wondering if that could be possible to be lowered. I don't know. I don't want to lower it very much or whatever, but I know we had some problems with that in the past here, that we had concerns, and I don't know. I wonder good or bad with that. That was a question I
So-
had.
I would say some of the issue might be though, if we move that amount and it doesn't fall under state law, we got to make sure we follow it to a T, because if not, the state board of accounts is going to.
Okay, is under 25,000, is that
I
considered
don't
state
know.
law?
I
Okay.
just know that's our current. It's
Right.
And I know we talked about that when we had the other episode of that, and I didn't know whether that, and there's nothing we do tonight anyway, is it?
Right.
No.
No, first read is just gonna give me some feedback on if you want some things changed or you want edits done. We can, and I did get some feedback on this, in the second read, you can do the second read in the board meeting, and immediately following the second read, you can approve them. So we would want these completely clean, ready to go.
Is there a way we can link to that spreadsheet from our Google Drive board folders
It's in there.
and not see it? Okay,
It's in the Neola policies folder.
and see the spreadsheet. My fault.
I'm linked to my spreadsheet.
That's the way I've been making my notes as well.
And I have one other question. What is crowdfunding?
Your, like GoFundMe,
Okay.
or
okay.
even,
That's what I thought it was. or
The
if you-
fundraisers that the basketball teams and stuff like that have done in the past.
Asking
where
for
you just
donations.
email out,
Yes.
we
okay,
put it on
okay,
social
that's
media.
what-
Which we have a current policy in the athletic handbook where we can't do that.
Yes, okay. I just read that, and I didn't think there was a very good explanation of what it was
I didn't
on
think it
that.
was very.
Of course, I was half asleep last night, it was about 11:30, so. And I did have one other one, it talks about investments. Do we have investments that we have money invested in? Like a rainy day fund or anything? Do we do anything with that?
We have a rainy day fund. We also have I think we have a money market account
Okay.
that has its earnings and interest.
Okay, that's why I was wondering whether some of this money that we don't actually use, if we, and maybe that's been said before, and I just zoomed right over my head or whatever, but I was just wondering as I read that. Okay, that's all I had.
Everything I had, I included on the spreadsheet that I couldn't
Thanks for doing
find.
that,
that I
Leila.
couldn't find. Thanks for putting that in for me since I didn't find it.
I didn't add to the spreadsheet. I think he was pretty thorough.
I guess there's a bit of comfort in that we still have control of these policies, and at any point, the board could bring up a concern on them for the monthly meeting and, okay.
Change.
All right. Thank you for keeping that organized. And Mr. Kavanaugh.
Right. A request from our technology director, Sherry Schrader, to accept the bid for Matrix for E-rate Category 2 items. Matrix scored the highest of the 7 vendors of the E-rate bid evaluation with their bid totaling $16,280.16. E-rate will cover $10,897.54, and the district will need to cover the remaining $5,382.62. As shown in the table below, Ms. Schrader accepted bids from 7 vendors. Of those 7, only 5 met all requirements needed for the E-rate process.
So looking for a motion to accept the bid from Matrix.
I'll make a motion that we accept the Matrix bid for technology or for the E-rate.
Second,
I'll second.
motion and second. Any discussion on this? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. And Mr. Kavanaugh.
Just asking for consideration the request from the elementary and high school principals to declare various classroom inventory as surplus. This is in preparation for the new furniture to be delivered actually during spring break. It's the new furniture that they just got in the elementaries and in the educational rooms in the high school.
Looking for a motion to approve the surplus list.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
On to discussion.
So that, like these surplus items, then once we've declared them surplus, do they still go back to the teachers? Or they've already, within the building, they've already gone through this and made sure that this is something we don't need?
The plan is, we are, the person that we bought the furniture from for a fee will take the excess away. And that was a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
With that said, we are going to put out to parents, maybe other organizations in our community. These are free if you'd like them, and then leave that open for a day or so or two, where they can get what they want. And then anything of excess, then that company will discard for us.
I know you see a lot of corporations will have an auction company come in and get rid of this. Is that something that would be a benefit to look into in the future?
We did think about that, but what we're getting rid of, we don't see a market for these tables and chairs.
And we did, Mr. Tabling with the company that is providing the furniture is working to try to find
Yeah, third world.
in a third world country that's building schools or something to figure out if they can somehow get this equipment there. So more to come if that works out. We'll definitely share that that's where our furniture is going. But
But
If
if
the
we don't,
daycare would like 12 or 15 desks.
I
we'd
think
be
it's
happy
great to
give
offer
them.
it to the community.
Yes.
if we can't give it away, then we have to hire them to take it away.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. And Mr. Kavanaugh.
I'd like to present the board a letter of resignation for board member Amy Will effective February 12th of 2024.
Okay, need a motion to accept the letter of resignation from Amy Will.
I'll make a motion, we accept, Amy Will's letter of resignation.
Second,
I'll second.
any discussion on this?
I would chime in here just to talk about kind of what this triggers.
Thank you.
Because I figured there would be questions on that. Basically if the board approves or accepts the resignation tonight, it will trigger a 30-day window for the board to then have to select and basically bring on a new board member. In the event the board does not select a new board member during that time, I guess misses that deadline, then the circuit court judge in Posey County would have the opportunity to select a new board member. So otherwise, it's up to the board to essentially seek out, find potential individuals that would be interested, and then that would be brought to a vote in a public meeting to determine whether or not, or to determine who that new person would be. So, with that would be the process. It's fairly straightforward. One criteria would be, the individual that would be coming on in that position would have to be within the district, Ms. Will resided in.
Which
And
is South Terrace.
which would basically be the
District
South Terrace District, yeah. And then it would fill the vacancy of her term, which would run through December 31st of this year. So this would actually be a position to be up for election then this coming November. So it would be a fairly, it wouldn't be long before this position would actually be up for a vote for the public.
Thank you for that info.
Thanks, Josh.
Any other discussion? I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. And Mr. Kavanaugh.
The following professional leave requests have already occurred. The request was received too late to obtain board approval prior to the leave before being brought to the board at this time. I just want to make sure you're aware. Mr. Wallace, on February 7th, went to Indianapolis for the fork truck training, train the trainer.
Looking for a motion to approve professional leave.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second,
I'll second
any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
it. Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0.
Presenting the following professional leave requests. We'll go through those real quick. Heather Brandel, Sarah Darty, I believe I said that, Aaron Kester, Tony Wilson, and Michelle Walden. We're going to the I Read 3 State Celebration in Indianapolis. Danny Ellis and Bernie Gable will go to the Tin Barge Seed Trade Show on February 15th. Andrea Eshe, Shannon Schickel, we're going to the textbook adoption on February 28th. Brian Wilson will be on March 7th, we'll be going to the Indiana Digital Learning Coach Camp. Sherry Schrader, Michelle Walden, and Charles Carter will be going to AI in School Seminar on March 15th.
I'm looking for a motion to approve professional leave.
I'll make a motion, we approve the professional leave requests.
I'll second it.
Can I add a discussion point there? I just want to highlight that South Terrace was invited to this I Read 3 state celebration for their achievements and their 98% pass rate for I Read 3. So very exciting. And so we're taking, we were able to, they said we can bring one, and we said, can we bring them all? So I'm excited to get to take them up for that celebration on Thursday night for the state. Dr. Katie Jenner, Secretary of Education, will be there, and it's a big celebration for all schools.
That's awesome.
Congratulations to them.
Yes.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Good news.
I do have one add-on.
Okay.
From BSN Sports, this was something that was purchased earlier in the year. It was under the $25,000 threshold. It was the new scoreboard that's been used in the scores bench,
Scores table.
scores table in the gym. With freight, it was $22,999. With freight, added another $3,000, which put that over the $25,000 threshold. We wanted to make sure, we could not find where it was passed by the board. We wanted to make sure you guys were aware of that.
And that'll go into the claim docket next time, or it was already in
We received that today. so.
today.
Yeah.
Okay, so it'll be next month's claim docket that will actually approve that.
I'll
I
tell
just
you
want to
that.
make sure we didn't have to take any action.
You
Oh,
probably
we
do
do.
need to take action for us to approve to pay it, yeah.
Okay,
Since it's above that threshold.
That board, that scores table, I think is really, really good because it's eliminated us having to have the advertising signs around the top of the gym. They're ran continually over the front of the board. It also allows when a kid goes up, shoot a free throw, it'll show their picture, can show some stats on it, different things like that. It's really, really good. And, you know, I was one to complain that some of our things weren't as good as what some others were. This is, I think, about as good as I've seen on the basketball level. It's not huge. It's not like the Jumbotron or anything like that, but it is pretty neat, I think.
What was that amount again?
It was, the amount was 22,999. The problem, or we wanted to make sure is when we add the 2,999 for freight, it came out to 25,998.
This is out of operations.
Correct. So looking for a motion to approve the purchase of the BSN Sports Scores Table for an amount including freight of $25,998 from operations.
I make a motion, we approve the purchase of the scores table for the gymnasium.
Second,
I'll second it.
any other discussion on this? All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Now to reports.
As far as the,
Good news report, you all received it,
yeah.
and it's been published online as well. I want to say Joanne Bogart is doing an amazing job with that.
Mhm. And I'd like to bring up a couple other things. I don't know if they made it or not. The wrestling, semi-state finalists, swimming, their performance at sectionals, I think on both boys and girls was more than expected.
And the
For-
BAC.
At the
For the
BAC,
young-
yeah. Boys
yes.
sectionals this week.
Okay.
Girls did amazing,
Mm-hmm.
but the PAC, we had some really
Yes.
awesome.
A lot of personal best and all the above. So, and then Science Olympiad they just had over at USI, and all of the competing students did very well from North Posey. And then I just wanted to add on top of the 98% score from Irene at South Terrace. That's awesome.
Lots of good things going on.
I don't want to leave North Elementary out on that. They are almost 90% pass rate. That's still a great pass rate. It's still above state average. So they are doing really well as well, so.
I have a question on those test scores and stuff like that. Maybe I'm not looking at the right place to see them or whatever. Maybe I need to look them up. I'm just used to when, say at New Harmony, when test scores would come out, they were always presented to the board. They were always presented at a meeting with the teachers. Everybody saw that. And I've been expecting to have seen that. And I asked Vince or somebody, I said, oh, we've never done that. So I don't, is that a reason we don't do it, or is it?
I've
don't
asked
know.
a similar question because I'm used to that as well. It hasn't been done since I've been here. It's certainly something we could begin to do. Those kinds of things come out at different times of the year. But we could certainly begin to build.
You know, it would be something I'd like to see if it's really good. I'd like to be able to celebrate it. If we're really hurting someplace, hey, we need to build this up, or we need to do something to help that. Maybe I need to just be able to look it up myself, but my technology is not real good.
honestly, in past years as a principal, 3rd through 8th grade, really dive in and look at iLearn scores and see where we're at. And we use benchmarks through iReady to see how we're preparing for it, but I couldn't think of one time we've actually had that presented to you, so that might be
Yeah,
something. we could look
you
at.
do that as a principal, go through all
With the
that and
staff,
everything like that.
correct.
With the staff also, okay. That's what I was wondering.
With the staff, but we never really took those findings, never were asked to take that to the board, so it's true.
I just think that would be something good for us to see and hear from the principals that, you know, we done this, our reading scores were down a little bit this year. but this was kind of the reason why they were down or whatever. Are we doing really well? I just,
We've chatted a little about putting together kind of a performance report, basically, kind of in maybe every 3 months or something like that. I think that's important for you guys to even hear, like, what are our attendance rates looking like? What are, just even simple things like that.
I don't
I
think
have a
that
bit
has
of
to
a
be
concern
done.
making it all about the standardized test scores, because
Yes.
I have some feelings about those.
I don't think it needs to be done every 3 months, but I think it needs to be done at least once for each thing. Like now we're taking SATs in high school instead of, I don't know, everything changes. We used to do IQ tests
Mhm.
and stuff.
Then
like that.
ISET, then the
ISET,
ACA.
But, I know that's a major change in the high school going to the SATs.
I think that'd be something good to throw into reports and information when we do get something.
If we get test scores
milestone.
back on something to have the
Mhm.
principal presented, or maybe we want to make it once a year that they present it. But if they're all at different times of the year, I wouldn't want to hear, okay, back last, April, we all failed something.
I think we need to do it that month following.
If at all possible.
With iLearn, I don't know if we would have it at the May board meeting, but we'd certainly have that information from June. Now, they are changing iLearn where there's going to be 4 tests throughout the year, so it would be possibly quarterly.
And you're gonna,
Because they gotta change it.
I'm actually kind of a proponent for this, just
Mhm.
because they're gonna do checkpoints, they're not summative. I'm still on the fence, but I actually kind of like the idea of these small
I
tests,
agree.
small, shorter time
I'm still leery
checkpoints.
with the state.
Mhm.
But
and you'll get
I trust
quarterly
it.
scores instead of yearly scores. Well,
And that's
every 4
true.
quarters, do you get a total for it or? for the
That's a
year?
few years out, but
It's
that's,
up in the air right now. If those are going to be cumulative or those are just going to be checks and then only the summative will be scored, we don't know yet.
They-
No.
they'll find a way to make it harder.
Next board meeting will be February 21st at South Terrace. We're going to have a work session and a special meeting. What's the thought on the time of this? We currently have it at 6:30 for the special meeting and a work session follow. Is that something, do we maybe need to look at moving that
If
up?
we try
or-
and name a board member, do we need to have an executive session for a short time before that or not? I don't know. We were talking about not waiting until February 11th in case we got bad weather or something.
March 11th, yeah.
Or March 11th, I'm sorry.
I would rather push it forward to 5:30 at start
For the regular.
for the regular working
Special.
session. Or the special meeting will start, then the working
immediately
session,
follow.
as long as everybody's available for that.
Would there, I would think there would be a need to have at least a 15-minute executive session.
Yeah. We could do half an hour or
Or
whatever.
a half an
too.
hour.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be conservative with 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So if we set that for 5 o'clock, would that work for everyone's schedule?
It'd be okay with me.
I think so.
And we can move it to 5:30 as
Or
long as
we
we,
set it at
Post
5:30
it
and then start
far
the
enough ahead of
regular
time.
meeting at 6, or if we get done with it.
Right.
Well, no, we can't start the regular meeting without earlier than what we had it announced, so.
Let's tentatively put it down for 5. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Executive session at 5.
Yeah, executive
Should
session.
be
at
careful
5.
with your tentative, because you're in your timeline too.
Yes.
That's just next week.
yeah.
Yeah.
And how far in advance do we have to post the contract?
Or if I just.
The contract's posted, but
Contract's posted.
how long, that's just a regular
It's just a
meeting?
regular meeting.
Okay, never mind.
We're gonna be doing most of our discussion via phone calls and emails about us
Yeah.
leading up to it. It shouldn't be in that room. I mean,
we're gonna have some discussion, but
Yeah.
we're gonna have done the legwork already,
All
so
right.
is it
Let's
okay?
look
if,
at executive session, 5 o'clock then.
That, I think that would work out fine.
5:30 for
Regular
the
meeting.
special meeting, with
Yeah.
working session immediately following.
That works for me.
But when something else would come up, it just takes a little bit of time. I don't know. I'm good.
And for the March meeting, are we looking at rotating, trying to get those rotations going to the buildings, or?
This one is gonna be at South Terrace, right? So then, yeah, I would say we just continue on. Is there anything pressed? Well, it might be good to do the March meeting at the high school and we can talk about the CTE stuff as well.
You want the high school and junior high together? We've done that before.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, both of those projects affect each other too. I mean, they're,
So we're looking at the media center.
We've done the library before.
mhm. I think that'd be a good spot.
All right, sounds like a good plan. Anyone else have anything for good of the cause?
Can I ask my question, then? My question? Okay. At the end. Is Amy Will's letter of resignation, is it public? May I see it?
It's part of the
If
board
she was-
packet, so.
What?
Yeah, it's part of the board packet, we can get that to you.
I was wondering if you could get me a copy of that. That was one question. My other question is, now you had the public meeting and the superintendent didn't have any spokespeople. What shall I'm not sure what I should say about, is the February 21st special meeting where you're going to announce the new superintendent? And should I just save details for all that and not say, because really there's nothing to say at this meeting about the superintendent. I'm
It's all
reporting
about the
on the meeting.
contract at this point,
Yeah.
that's.
Mhm.
And you guys are just going back and forth with the contract, right? Okay, well, and then like if it's published elsewhere, I mean, it's not really, germane, the story was what happened at this meeting, so I can't really include, you know what I mean? Yeah, what to include, yeah, so I wasn't sure what I should be saying.
Yeah, because all of that's already been put out. so.
Yeah, I think the name's out and everything, isn't it? No, that'll be the big announcement then, that I can do on the 21st. Okay.
Yeah, it's not officially out, but
Yeah, I got it. I'll wait. That'll be the big story on the 21st. I'll get a picture and everything and do it and just for now, just mention that nobody was here for this public hearing. Okay.
I guess we're looking for a motion to adjourn then.
I'll make a motion with adjourn.
Need a second?
I'll second it.
And as is tradition, then we are adjourned.
Maybe you just put this in the back.
You did a good job this time, okay?
You're gonna take it home with you?
No.
What you done last time?
I did take it from this.